Marvel keeps dropping consistent hits. They're like Muhammad Ali with the shits. Guys, if you didn't know, Marvel and Netflix have been doing these really gritty runs of superheroes like Daredevil, which is fantastic. Luke Cage is great. Jessica Jones is also really good. And then, you know, you got your mediocre shit. But the other three, they're fantastic. I highly advise that you watch those three shows. Honestly, you probably gotta watch season 2 of Daredevil to get some of this season, which means you'd probably have to watch season 1 of Daredevil to get season 2 of Daredevil. So go watch Daredevil, folks. Guys, if you know me, you know how hard I ride for that first season of Daredevil. Everything about it is just great. And so I put season 1 of Daredevil right at the top. And I put the Punisher right here. It is so good. Everything about this series, from the acting to the action to the writing to the directing, everything about it is just so good. The thing I love about this series is that you don't have to even like be a big comics guy. You can just go into this fresh, not even giving a shit about the comics or anything, and it's still a great series to watch because they don't make it all about like the Avengers. Like, it's all in the same universe and stuff, but they don't take the time to sit here and be like, oh, well, the incident that happened with the Hulk in 2009. Like, no, they don't do any of that shit. It's all a Punisher story, and so I love that about it. It's its own thing. The story itself is basic, but it just keeps you intrigued the whole time from start to finish. And if you don't know, this story is about a man whose family gets killed, and then he just goes on a murderous rampage trying to find the people who killed his family. That's it. It's a nice revenge story. It's not a superhero story in the least bit. He's killing motherfuckers. He is killing niggas left and right like crazy. It's not for kids in the least bit. It's another thing I love about this shit. This shit is R-rated. R-rated. You want to see someone get stabbed 17 times? You know, watch this shit. It's fucking awesome. And when I say the story is basic, I'm not talking about the story in the show. I'm just talking about the Punisher story. It's just a basic revenge play. Whoa. Playal. And when I say it's a basic story, I'm not talking about in the show. I'm more talking about the Punisher itself. Like, it's really just a basic revenge tale. But what they do with that revenge plot in the show is just absolutely amazing. They give you that revenge plot mixed in with this, like, dirty military mission that happened. And so it's just like, you gotta find out who's actually behind all this. And, you know, it's really, really good stuff. And it's really intriguing from start to finish. And what I think makes it so intriguing along the way is the characters that they have in it, like all of them. John Bernthal playing the Punisher is just the best thing that could have happened. He brings like this quiet rage to his performance, so when that rage comes out, you're like, oh shit. And everybody else surrounding him is great too. I'd like to name them all off, but there are so many characters that I'm not gonna take the time. But I will say, the villain, I'm not gonna spoil who it is. They do such a great job making you hate him. He is such a schmuck-faced piece of shit that you're just like, yep, Frank, go in there and just murder the shit out of him. Just absolutely annihilate him. And so that hate in your blood really keeps you going through those 13 episodes. And on top of that, they add like some social commentary talking about how we dishonor our veterans. And honestly, it made me feel like a piece of shit. One of the characters in the show, Curtis, he holds a meeting for veterans to come and sit and talk about the war and talk about their feelings and whatnot. And one of the guys in the group, he was talking about his son or his dad or something like that. And he was talking about how he fought in the war and whatnot. And one of the guys across the room was like, oh, did he make it out? And he was like, oh yeah, he made it out, but he was killed in a drive-by shooting. And then this kid who has just an extreme case of PTSD, like extreme case of PTSD. He goes and digs a trench in his like backyard. It's like 25 degrees out because his bed is too soft and he doesn't know where home is anymore. And what I mean by that is just like, he can't sit here and be a normal person after he's done like unspeakable things overseas. And so he's trying his hardest to sit here and try and be a regular everyday citizen, but you know, he gets arrested for trying to do a civilized protest because there's a dirty cop on the street. And it's just things that they talk about like that with the drive-by shooting and this kid is just like, God, man. It's like, what are they really fighting for? Like, what kind of country are they really fighting for? Dirty cops and Americans who really don't appreciate a damn thing. My God, this got deep. Jesus Christ. And later on, he does some fucked up shit, and it kind of makes it hard to feel bad for that character. But what they speak on is just, it's so good, man. It's such a fantastic series of television. One last thing I'll say, if none of this has convinced you to watch the show, watch the first episode. Watch the very first episode, because it is some of the best shit ever. I thought it was going to have more to do with the whole season. It really doesn't. It really is just setting up Frank and where he's at after like season 2 of Daredevil and whatnot. But dude, that first episode, it is so good. The directing is fantastic. The action and the first episode is a mirror of what the whole season is. If you watch that first episode and you're not into it, don't watch the show. But if you watch that first episode and you fuck with that, you're gonna love this show. You're gonna love this whole entire show. So The Punisher is an A. The only reason it's an A and not an A+, and the only reason it's a little bit below that first season of Daredevil is because there's this whole terrorist plot line, and it kind of just diverts away from the main storyline. But other than that, it's fantastic shit. It's really, really good. I don't see anybody not liking this show. Oh, and you know it's Marvel, so you know they're gonna throw in some Easter eggs and shit. They do the origin of Jigsaw in there, this Jigsaw, not this one. And it is just absolutely fantastic. When Frank was smashing dude's face into the glass, I'm not gonna tell you who, but when he was smashing the guy's face into the glass, I was like, oh my God, is this it? Is this it? Is this where we're getting it? And then he just keeps on bashing his face into the glass. I was like, yes! Bruh. So good. So good. Guys, there's not a goddamn thing coming out this weekend, so, you know, get at me in the 2K. PlayStation. Username Fox Reviews. Get at me, son. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.
I grew up on the crime side, the New York Times side. Staying alive was no job, had second hands. Moms bounced on old men, so then we moved to Shallon Land.